21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein. Yes? Where? 3120? In the bar and grill. Who's shot? What's his name? Where's the man with the gun?
You are in the muster room at the 21st Precinct, the nerve center.
way?
A call is coming through. You will follow the action taken pursuant to that call from this minute until the final report is written in the 124 room at the 21st Precinct.
I'll send the officers. What? Talk into the phone. It's on its way. The ambulance is already on its way. Just wait there for the officers.
21st Precinct. It's just lines on a map of the city of New York. Most of the 173,000 people wedged into the 9/10 of a square mile between Fifth Avenue and the East River wouldn't know if you asked them that they lived or worked in the 21st. Whether they know it or not, the security of their persons, their homes, and their property is my job. My job and the job of the 160 patrolmen, 11 sergeants, and 4 lieutenants, of whom I'm the boss. My name is Kennelly, Frank Kennelly. I'm captain in command of the 21st. I was working my 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. tour. It was a hot, muggy night. After I turned out the platoon for the late tour, I went on patrol of the precinct with patrolman Johnny Farrell as operator and myself as recorder. At 2:55, we were driving south on Lexington Avenue in the 70s. There were few cars on the street and fewer pedestrians. All right, cut across east on 72nd, Johnny. We'll take a turn up first. Yes, sir.
8838.
What was the matter with your boy, Johnny?
I don't know, Captain. Analogy, the doctor said.
75.
A rash like that could be caused by anything. Something he ate or one of his toys or weed or something. Hard to tell.
Yeah, I know.
And to keep him from scratching. How are you going to keep a kid 5 years old from scratching in his sleep unless you tie
Well,
him?
there's somebody running.
Huh? Where?
This side, down on the next block.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a look.
The man.
Pull up ahead of him. Police officer, what's your hurry?
No.
Hold up. I was running to the police station.
Okay, Captain.
Yeah? Well, tell me, mister.
Hold up, guys. They shot my boss.
Where?
Bar and grill. He's dead. I think he's dead.
And where were you running?
The police station.
What was the matter with the phone?
I don't know. I was so excited, I guess.
What's your name?
Charlie Burgess. I'm the bartender.
Okay, get in the car. Open the door, Farrell.
Yes, sir.
He looked dead to me.
All right, get in, Charlie. You go around, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Where is this?
The bar and grill, 2 blocks up.
Oh, what's the street address?
3120.
3120, Johnny.
Yes, sir.
The 2 guys were there for an hour almost. Poor Dutch.
All right, 620.
Go ahead, 620.
We picked up a man who reports a robbery and shooting at the Bar and Grill, 3120 Lexington.
3120.
That's right. We've got the witness. We're on our way.
Okay.
You were running to the police station?
Yeah, that's right.
Police station's in the other direction.
21 Precinct, car 631, 632. The address 3120 Lexington.
All right, come on, Charlie. Let's go. Come on.
I didn't know where the police station was. How should I know?
Inside, Charlie.
He's over there behind the bar.
How come the music?
Hold up, guys. Put a couple of quarters in the jukebox. I don't know. There. Is he dead?
Yeah, he's dead.
Here's the gun, Captain. Over here.
All right, let it lay, Farrell. And pull the plug on that jukebox.
That's it. Cash register's clean now.
Why'd they shoot him, Charlie?
I don't know. Happened so fast, I don't know.
Where were you standing?
Right here, right by the beer tap.
You were the bartender?
Yeah, that's right. Substitute, the regulars on vacation.
Why didn't they shoot you?
I ducked. I ducked down behind the bar.
If you were the bartender, what did you do? Change into your street clothes after the shooting?
No. Dutch said I could go home early. Business was slow. I could go home, so I changed.
Well, if you changed, what were you doing behind the bar?
It was my last night. I came back here so Dutch could give me my money.
No other customers around when it happened?
No, just the 2 heisters. Hey, what is this, anyhow?
That's what we want to know from you, Charlie. What it is. 2 sector cars, the sergeant's car, detectives from the 21st Squad, and an ambulance arrived on the scene almost immediately. As required in homicide cases, Lieutenant Matt King, commanding the 21st Squad, was called from his home. Also notified were the Manhattan East Homicide Squad, the Medical Examiner's Office, the New York County District Attorney's Office, the Police Laboratory for latent fingerprint experts, and a police photographer, and such superior officers of the department as were concerned. Premises were completely examined for latent fingerprints and other physical evidence. The apparent murder gun, carefully handled, was tagged for evidence by the laboratory men for ballistics and fingerprint examination. The body of the victim was taken to Bellevue Morgue for autopsy. At 10 minutes to 4 a.m., Lieutenant King brought Charles Burgess to the station house for a detailed account. There in the 21st Squad, he was questioned by Lieutenant King in his office in the presence of Assistant District Attorney Lewis Curley, 2 detectives, and myself.
Now, you said the 2 bandits were average height.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what you mean, Charlie, by average height.
Average height. They weren't too big. They weren't too small.
Would you say they were as tall as I am?
A little taller, maybe.
About as tall as Captain Kennelly?
About, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Both of them? And they were about the same height.
Well, one was a little taller than the other. It was only a little.
Which one? The one that fired the shot?
Yeah, the one that fired the shot, he was a little taller.
You told Captain Kennelly on the scene that the other one was a little taller. Isn't that right, Captain?
That's what he said.
Well, one of them was a little taller. What are you trying to do to me anyway?
You're getting a little confused, Charlie.
Well, this whole thing is enough to confuse anybody.
Here, Charlie. Have a cigarette.
Yeah, I could use one. Thanks.
21st Squad, detective. Shouldn't be confusing if you're giving us the facts.
That's all I'm giving you is the facts. Thanks.
It's all right.
I'm telling you what happened. What else do you want from me?
Okay, thanks. Nothing else, Charlie.
Well, that was the ME's office with the preliminary report, Lieutenant.
Yeah.
2 bullet wounds, one through the right shoulder, the other entered the left arm, went through the chest, and pierced the heart. That was the baby.
Stand up a minute, Charlie.
Me?
Yeah, you. Stand up. Whitey.
Yeah, Lieutenant?
Come over here a minute.
Yeah, sure, Lieutenant.
Now, Charlie, supposing Detective Howard was the hold-up man with a gun. That's good, Whitey, right there. Supposing, Charlie, you were Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch.
About where was Dutch standing from the hold-up man when the shots were fired?
Was about here, I'd say.
Uh-huh. Where were you standing, Charlie?
About right over there. But the bar ran along this way.
Captain, would you be Charlie?
Yeah, sure. Right about here?
Yeah, right about there. I could show you better if I was myself.
I want you to be Dutch.
Yeah, Dutch.
All right, now the hold-up man fired the first shot. Bang. It hit Dutch in the right shoulder.
Yeah?
The second shot. Bang. Through the left arm and into the chest. Dutch fell down.
Yeah, that's right. He fell down.
Charlie, are you sure that's about where the hold-up man was standing?
Yeah, that's where he was standing about.
Are you positive, Charlie?
Sure, I'm positive.
Okay. Now sit down.
Listen, can't I go home? We've been at this an awful long time.
I'll tell you something, Charlie. Dutch will be dead a long time, too.
The questioning continued for some minutes more. Charlie Burgess stated he would be able to recognize either or both of the 2 killers if he saw them again. Finally, coffee and sandwiches were sent for. Charlie sat on a bench in the corner munching at his food. 2 uniformed officers arrived with a pair of narcotic addicts they caught in the act of breaking into and stealing goods from parked cars on Madison Avenue. It was a good collar. There'd been 10 to 20 squeals a night in the precinct concerning such thieves. As detectives started to talk to them, Charlie watched with fascination from the bench. It was a question, who was more in trouble? I went back downstairs to the muster room and checked with the desk officer and the man on the boxes. Other than the homicide, it had been a quiet tour. I went into my office to read and sign reports which had accumulated during the tour. It was getting light out, and with the dawn came the first breeze in 48 hours. It might be a cooler day. Shortly before 7 o'clock, Lieutenant King came downstairs and crossed the muster room to my office.
Captain,
Come in, Matt.
you got a minute?
Yeah, sure. How are you doing?
I don't know. I think Charlie's telling us a pack of lies.
You think he killed the man?
He sure could have, Captain, but we'll need a lot. We'll need to know if it was his gun, where he got it, and so forth. We'll need a straight story on what went on there.
Yeah. Oh, could you use a cup of coffee, man?
Yeah, Captain. There's some hot.
Oh, I think so. Hey, what about the 3 customers he keeps talking about?
If Charlie didn't kill Dutch, somebody had to. Somebody right out of his head.
Oh, Sergeant.
Excuse me, Captain.
Go ahead, take the phone.
21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein. 37. All right, listen, you're ringing in 3 minutes late. I don't care what the clock in the jewelry store says. According to this clock, you're 3 minutes late. All right. Yes, sir, Captain.
Is there any hot coffee?
Yes, sir, it's on the fire.
Oh, thanks.
The sugar's in the drawer there.
Good, thanks. What do you think happened, Matt?
I think Charlie tried to dip the till, and Dutch caught him at it. There was an argument. Charlie had a gun, and bang.
Well, the cash register was empty. Money had to go someplace. Charlie didn't have it on him. Wasn't any place in the store.
I know, but he ran a block and a half before you nailed him. Could have been dropped in a trash can, a hallway, or even a mailbox.
Sugar, man?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, help yourself.
Thanks. I've got 2 men out checking every trash can and doorway between the bar and grill and where you stopped him, Captain.
Good.
But he could have had a friend who carried it away.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
The problem right now is what we're going to do with Charlie. We haven't got enough to book him in on homicide. The assistant DA thinks we ought to take him down to court and have him held as a material witness.
Sounds like a good idea. Oh, how's the coffee, Matt? Hot enough?
Yeah, that's fine. We told Charlie what we're going to do. He called his brother, and I think they'll have a lawyer down there. The DA says if they put up a fight, he'll need your testimony at the hearing because you collared him on the street.
Uh-huh.
I told him you were due to go off at 8.
Well, that's all right. I'll go down.
He said he'd get it set down for as soon after 10 as possible.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Well, thanks, Captain. That'll help us a lot. Coffee sure tastes fine.
Yeah.
That was a good collar your men made, Ahern and Ross. Ought to clear most of those squeals we had breaking into cars.
Better still, Matt. It ought to stop them.
Yes, sir. You've got a big point.
At 8 a.m., I turned out the platoon for the day tour. A few minutes later, with the 2 detectives and Charlie Burgess, I rode to Police Headquarters Annex, 400 Broom Street. We parked the car and took the elevator to the 5th floor Bureau of Criminal Identification. It was approximately 8:30 a.m. Charlie was taken back to the combination MO and general appearance file. Here, there are thousands of photographs of men with criminal records classified according to the type of crimes they had committed. Stick-up men, burglars, forgers, auto thieves, pickpockets, and so forth. Within each classification, the photographs are broken down according to general physical description. That is, according to height, weight, hair color, complexion, and build. Charlie was seated on a stool in front of the file. Fox and Howard stood on either side of him. I leaned on another file behind them and watched.
Well, take your coat off, Charlie. You got about 6,000 pictures to look at. It's hot.
No, that's all right.
Oh, suit yourself.
Relax, Charlie. Count on making a career out of it.
I'm relaxed.
Now, this is what's known as a visible record file. There's 12 slides to a cabinet, 71 pockets on each slide. In each pocket, there's 2 pictures, full face and profile of the same man. I'll pull out a slide, start dropping the pockets in front of you. Say no, and I'll drop the next one. You all set?
I'm set, I guess.
Now, relax, Charlie. You'll be here a long time.
All right, here goes.
No, that's not him.
Just say no or save your voice.
No. That's the guy. That's him.
This one?
That's him, I tell you. That's the one that shot Dutch. That's him.
Are you sure?
I'm telling you.
Okay, study it a little longer, make sure.
I don't have to study. That's him.
Study it anyway. Whitey, come here.
Now, just sit there, Charlie.
Do you believe him?
You?
I ask you first.
Captain?
You said it like it meant it.
It's like hitting the sweepstakes.
50,000 mugs to look at, and he makes the 3rd picture.
Well, either Charlie lives right or he's the best liar I ever met.
You are listening to 21st Precinct, a factual account of the way the police work in the world's largest city.
Charlie Burgess was put to work looking through the mugs for the number 2 man. Meanwhile, Detective Fox had an identification man pull the complete jacket on the suspect he identified, Al Hance, also known as Alfred Harrods, a man with a record of 2 arrests and 1 conviction, armed robbery. This information was telephoned to Lieutenant King. So was the report that the murder gun bore no readable fingerprints. By 9:45 a.m., Charlie had failed to identify a picture of the number 2 man. He was taken to the car, and we drove farther downtown to the criminal courts building at 100 Center Street. There, in felony court, he was met by his brother and an attorney. After considerable argument before the magistrate, Charles Burgess was ordered held as a material witness in $15,000 bail, which could not be posted immediately. The 2 detectives signed a receipt for Charlie and drove him back uptown to the 21st. I went with them.
In there, Charlie, in the lieutenant's office.
Come in.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, Captain. Thanks a lot. Oh, that's all right. Shut the door, will you, Fox?
Yes,
Sit down, Charlie.
Look.
Sit down. Captain, you were in on this thing before any of us, except Charlie, that is. Do you think you can get him to talk sense? I'll try.
Look, I don't feel like talking to anybody. I'm bushed.
Well, what do you think we are?
I'm really bushed. Can't I get some sleep?
Maybe?
Maybe. What kind of an answer is maybe?
It's as good as the answers you've been giving us, Charlie.
You know I wouldn't do nothing like killing Dutch. I liked him. I loved him. Like a brother, I loved him.
Charlie, there's more murders over love than hate.
I'm telling you.
Everything stacks up against you, Charlie. You say there were 3 other fellows left the bar right before the holdup. We can't find a trace of them.
They were in there. They were in there.
You could have used the phone to call the cops. Instead, you ran to the police station. Only you ran the wrong way.
I'm from Brooklyn. I only worked there 3 days. I got mixed up. That's natural.
Is standing behind the bar in your street clothes natural?
No.
Why did it happen when there were no customers in the joint, Charlie?
I don't know. What do you want from me?
Facts, Charlie, just facts.
I'm giving you facts. That's all I've been giving you.
Isn't it a fact that you waited until all the customers were gone and you pulled a gun on Dutch?
No, it's not.
Isn't it a fact that you shot him in cold blood with the intention of saying 2 hold-up men walked in?
No.
And you were running away and ran right into my arms?
No, it's not so. It's not so. It's not.
Well, Charlie, I hope it isn't so. For your sake. Because whoever did do it is going to wind up in the electric chair. That was as far as we could get with Charlie. I left him with Lieutenant King and went downstairs to the muster room. I signed the blotter and left the precinct, not due back on the job until 8 the next morning. In the meantime, Lieutenant King had detailed 2 men to trace Al Hance, the former convict whose picture was identified by Charlie Burgess. From different sources, they learned 2 facts. One, that Hance owned an automobile, a 1949 Plymouth Coupe painted 2-tone green, that Al Hance now lived someplace in the neighborhood of St. Mary's Park, the Bronx. That night and early the next morning, detectives cruised the streets within 10 blocks of each side of this park looking for such a car. At 4 o'clock in the morning, one was spotted parked near the Mott Haven yards of the New Haven Railroad. The registration was checked with the Motor Vehicle Bureau. The car was registered in the name of Al Hance. 2 men of the 21st Squad were assigned to his stakeout. By 8 a.m., he had not shown up. 2 detectives were sent in relief. They watched until 6 p.m. Still, no luck. At that time, Detectives Fox and Howard were sent in relief. They watched the car for 7 hours.
That's him, Whitey. There he goes.
Let's get him. Wait a minute, Al. Grab him. Police officers, hold still, Al.
Hey, what's the idea?
Oh, still.
He's clean.
Listen, what's the idea? What do you want?
We want to talk to you, Al.
All right, let's talk. What's the beef?
What have you been doing for the past week?
I've been working. Working for a trucking company.
Where?
Here in the Bronx.
Days or nights?
Well, a little of both.
And what else have you been doing?
Well, I've been dating a girl.
Every night?
Yeah, almost every night. When I'm not working. You got the wrong party, boys.
We'll see about that. Come on.
Listen, why don't you save yourself a lot of trouble? Why don't you talk to her? She can account for my time.
We'll talk to her.
What were you doing there all the time? Well, we were drinking, etc. What's this girl's name? Her name's Wanda. Wanda Rutley. That's the honest to goodness truth.
Where does she live?
She lives on East 152nd.
Where on East 152nd?
I don't know the number. I can show you the house.
Okay, Al, you show us the house. Come on, there's our car.
The detectives took Al Hance to their car. They drove to East 152nd Street, where Hance pointed out the house in which he said the girl, Wanda Rutley, lived. They drove him downtown to the 21st for questioning by Lieutenant King concerning his activities of Tuesday night. He denied all knowledge of the holdup and murder. At 4 a.m., Lieutenant King instructed Detectives Fox and Howard to go back uptown to the girl's room.
All right, I'm coming. All right, I said. Taking a girl up in the middle of the night. Yeah, what do you want?
The police officers want to open up.
I don't care who you are. Girls got to have some self-respect.
You're a sound sleeper.
I gotta take sleeping pills. Doctor's orders. Hey, don't any cops work the day shift? What are you always doing coming around in the middle of the night and disturbing somebody's self-respect like this? Look at me. Lucky I wasn't too groggy to put on a kimono.
Wanda, you know Al Hance?
Yeah, sure, I know Al Hance. You know I know Al Hance.
When'd you see him last?
What day is this, anyway?
This is Friday morning, 4 o'clock.
Have you seen him this week?
Yeah, I saw him a couple nights ago.
Tuesday? Wednesday? When?
Day before yesterday. No, wait a minute. What was that, Tuesday? Day before yesterday?
That's right.
He was here, yeah. Excuse me, I gotta sit down.
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. You're very generous.
What time to get here Tuesday night?
Oh, I don't know. About 9, 10 o'clock, something like that.
What time to leave?
It was late, very late.
About midnight?
No, much later. What do you do, anyway?
1 o'clock?
No, much later. Close to 4, after 4, something like that.
Close to 4, huh?
I don't know exactly where. It was around there sometime.
What was he doing here all the time?
Well, we were... Do I have to say? I'll say anyway. We were drinking and we were playing canasta.
Canasta.
Canasta. We were playing canasta.
All right, Wanda. Go in and get dressed.
Why?
Some people want to talk to you downtown.
In the middle of the night. Always in the middle of the night.
It doesn't look good, Whitey.
Well, that depends whose side you're on. Looks great for Al. For Charlie, it looks terrible.
I was on the job at 7:45 in the morning. After I turned out the platoon, I looked over the blotter and arrest records for a picture of what had occurred in the precinct during the night. Lieutenant King walked in the front door. With him were Detective Fox and Charlie Burgess. He told me that after a night of questioning, the girl had verified Al Hance's story in every particular. Now he was about to bring Charlie face to face with Hance. With Lieutenant King, I followed Detective Fox and Charlie Burgess through the back room, upstairs, and into the detective squad.
All right, Charlie, let's go inside. Captain?
Yep.
When's it going to be over? That's what I want to know.
Soon, Charlie. Okay.
Uptown, downtown, I'm getting sick of it.
Who is it?
Lieutenant.
Oh, all set, Lieutenant. Come in.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I try to help him. That's him, Captain. That's the guy.
I'm the guy that what?
You're the guy that shot Dutch.
You're out of your mind.
It's him, I'm telling you. It's him.
Hey, who is this jerk? He's crazy.
It's him. It's him.
Get your hands off me, will you?
It's him.
Tell him to get his hands off me.
Charlie,
It's him.
sit down.
Yeah. All right.
Listen, what kind of a frame is this?
He's the guy.
All right, folks, be quiet. Fox, bring her in here. We'll wrap it up.
Okay. Well, you wouldn't take my word for it, huh? But you'll take Wanda's.
Who's Wanda?
You'll see, Charlie.
Everything I'll see. Tell me something.
Come on in. Inside, Wanda.
All right. Don't have to rush.
Sit down, Wanda. Hello, Wanda.
Al, Hans, why don't you stay out of trouble? So I wouldn't have to lose my self-respect and be waked up by policemen at such an hour to make alibis for you.
Sit down.
All right. Could say please.
Wanda, you're involved in a very serious matter here.
Oh, I'm always involved in a very serious matter. But Al was at my house. He was there from around 9 o'clock until after 3 in the morning, and nothing you can say will change that.
It's a lie. Okay, Charlie. Wanda, did you know this was a murder case?
Murder case? Is it? Murder? Well,
Now, was Al at your place between those times on Tuesday night?
I told you he was, didn't I?
We want the truth, Wanda.
I'm telling you the truth.
You ever been in jail?
Sure, I've been in jail. You know I've been in jail.
How long? Overnight?
I was in 2 nights once.
Were you ever in 2 years, or 3 years, or 5 years? You know what it's like, Wanda?
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything.
If you testify for Al and we prove it's a lie, we can send you away.
For what?
For perjury. Or worse, as accessory to murder.
And we will, too.
You can't do that. Can you?
If you lie on the witness stand, we will.
Oh, fun is fun.
Shut up.
But I can't.
Shut up, I said.
Get
away from her. Girl, I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Watch him. Break that wall. I'll get him. That'll hold.
I didn't mean any harm. Honestly, I didn't. He just said that he was in a little trouble, and if I was asked any questions to cover up for him.
All right, Wanda, sit
I
down.
didn't mean any harm. I didn't know it was a murder, Bee.
Sit down.
Yeah.
Is he okay?
You'll come around in a minute. Thanks, Captain.
For what?
You see? You see?
Yeah, we see, Charlie. We're sorry if we gave you a hard time.
That's all right, Lieutenant. You guys were just doing your job. I know that. I'll admit it. It looked bad for me. Awful bad.
Charlie, no matter how bad it looked for you, it's going to look a lot worse for him.
21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein. How'd you know it was burglar's man? And so it goes. Around the clock, through the week, every day, every year. A police precinct in the city of New York is a flesh and blood merry-go-round. Anyone can catch the brass ring. Or the brass ring can catch anyone.
Incidents portrayed on tonight's 21st Precinct occurred last year. Names were changed to protect the interests of persons involved. 21st Precinct is presented with the official cooperation of the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, an organization of more than 20,000 members of the Police Department, City of New York. Everett Sloan in the role of Captain Kennelly, Ken Lynch as Lieutenant King. Featured in tonight's cast were Elspeth Herrick, Wendell Holmes, Chuck Webster, Bill Quinn, Phil Sterling, and Lawson Zerby. Written and directed by Stanley Niss, produced for CBS Radio by John Ives. Art Hanna speaking.
'21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein. Yes, ma'am. Case? It isn't gas? What's the address? Which one? You are in the muster room at the 21st Precinct, the nerve center. Call is coming in. You will follow the action taken pursuant to that call from this minute until the final report is written in the 124 room at the 21st Precinct. All right, ma'am. You'll have assistance there right away. Yes, ma'am, right away. 21st Precinct. It's just lines on a map of the city of New York. Most of the 173,000 people wedged into the 9/10 of a square mile between Fifth Avenue and the East River wouldn't know if you asked them that they lived or worked in the 21st. Whether they know it or not, the security of their persons, their homes, and their property is my job. My job and the job of the 160 patrolmen, 11 sergeants, and 4 lieutenants, of whom I'm the boss. My name is Kennelly, Frank Kennelly. I'm captain in command of the 21st.
What makes a city? Not buildings, not subways, not business. People make a city. From dawn to midnight, from midnight to dawn, the rich and the poor and the good and the bad pour their lives together and stir up the city, as in the 21st.
I was out of the precinct on my way to division headquarters. There was a meeting of precinct commanders in connection with new regulations for the supervision of cabarets and dance halls. It was 8:38 a.m. when the radio call went out.
21 Precinct, cars 313 and 314. The address 614 East 76th Street on the second floor.
All right, turn around, Johnny. Let's take a look.
Emergency squad and ambulance responding. Okay.
When we turned into 76, I could see we had plenty of men on the job. 2 sector cars from the precinct were in front of 614, an old law tenement. So was the sergeant's car. Ahead of them were the emergency service car and an ambulance. You stay with the car, Johnny. Police officer. Excuse me. Coming through there. Police officer. Oh, what have we got, Coley?
A couple of kids, Captain.
Gas case?
Stay back, folks. There's nothing to see.
Nobody's been down since I was posted here, Captain. I haven't heard anything.
Thanks. Oh, Coley, stop in and see me after the tour, will you?
Yes, sir.
Now, stand back there, folks. There's nothing to see. It's all...
The house was no better, no worse than 1,000 others like it. No cleaner, no dirtier. Even at that time of the morning, you could smell cabbage cooking. Somebody's always cooking cabbage. It's cheap. At the top of the stairs, a cop was posted in front of the rear flat on the second floor. All the neighbors had been shooed back behind their own doors. In the kitchen, a young woman, her hair in curlers and wearing a faded housecoat, sat in a corner sobbing. In the other room, the ESD men and the ambulance surgeon were laboring desperately with respirator equipment. Sergeant Burns was standing in the doorway between the 2 rooms. What do we got, Sergeant? 2 kids?
Yes, sir.
Is that the mother?
Yeah. They're twins. 2 boys, 9 weeks old.
How are they?
I don't think it looks good. Let me try for a pulse again here.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Hold it there.
All right.
Where's the father?
He was a corporal in the Air Force. Killed in the crash in Alaska 7 or 8 months ago.
Oh.
She said that since she brought the twins home from the hospital, she's been keeping them in a couple of dresser drawers. These. She said she puts the 2 drawers on the table at night right next to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Each of the twins got wrapped in tight in a blanket in his own drawer. Then she uses this yellow blanket across the top of both the drawers. That's what knocked them out. Blanket on top.
What's her name?
Lucas. Mrs. Ruth Lucas.
Let's talk to her, Sergeant.
How's it look, Doc?
Not very good, Sergeant.
Come on.
Mrs. Lucas. This is Captain Kennelly.
Oh, my babies. They're dead, aren't they?
The doctor and the emergency squad are trying to save them. Respirator's still working.
Poor little babies.
We'd like to find out how this thing happened, Miss Lucas.
If you want, I don't care. I was just going out today to buy a clip for them. I cut out an ad from the Mirror last night. At Kimball's, they're having a sale on baby things. I was going down there today. The ad's in my pocketbook in there if you want to see it.
No, that's all right.
If you don't mind, I think I ought to have my pocketbook anyway. I cashed my checks from the government yesterday. There's $100 in my pocketbook. More than 100.
Where is your pocketbook?
In there on the dresser.
Would you get it, Sergeant?
Yes, sir. Right away, Captain.
How much do you get from the government, Miss Lucas?
Altogether, you mean?
Yeah, altogether.
From both Social Security and the pension, it comes to about $145.
A month?
Yes, a month. That's for me and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the checks come, I pay the rent. That's what I did yesterday, the rent and the little bill at the candy store. There's about $100 left.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Did you talk to the doctor? Is there any sign? You know.
He was busy.
Oh.
As long as you've got your pocketbook, Miss Lucas, you said you wanted to show me that ad.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to get Mrs. Gonzalez to come and stay with him this morning while I went downtown. She stays with him when I have to go out. It's very nice for me. She lives upstairs on the 4th floor. This is the ad. It was in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is your money there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
Well, maybe you ought to look anyway. Been a lot of people walking through here this morning.
Yeah, it's all here. It's a funny time to be worrying about money. I'm sorry.
Well, you've always got to worry about money. Weather's been pretty warm out, Miss Lucas. Seems to me you have them wrapped up in a lot of blankets.
They've got to be kept warm. They're still so young. There was a blanket for each, the blue ones. I always wrap those around them. And then I always put the yellow one over the top of the drawers, you know.
Did you tuck it in under the drawers, the yellow blanket?
Yeah, it never touched them. That's why I can't understand how it happened. It never came more than this close to them. It was just to keep away any drafts. And there was at least this much open space over their heads. Only thing I can figure is they're getting so they can kick a little. One of them must have kicked it, you know.
You put them to bed last night?
Yes. About 6 o'clock, and then about 8, Mrs. Gonzalez came. Stayed with him for a couple of hours.
Where were you?
I went out with a friend of mine.
Where?
You know, around we went to movies. We went and had some pizza and a bottle of beer.
Girlfriend?
No, man. Well, I met after Harry died.
Mm-hmm. What's his name?
Why?
Oh, I just wanted to know.
Oh, Dan Torbert.
Where is he now?
Work, I guess. He's a mechanic. He works for a taxi company.
What taxi company?
Ace, something like that. I don't know.
Where does he live?
Uptown in the Bronx. I don't see what he has to do with it. He had nothing to do with it. He's just a friend of mine, that's all. Could you hand me that box of tissues, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I don't get it. I just don't. The babies were all right when I came home. Mrs. Gonzalez takes good care of them. She said she changed them, and she gave them a bottle about 11:30, and they went off to sleep again. I just don't get it.
What time did Dan bring you home, Miss Lucas?
Oh, I don't know exactly. It was before midnight, I think, a little before midnight.
Did he come upstairs with you?
Why?
Oh, just wanted to know.
Sure, he came up. He sat a while after Mrs. Gonzalez left.
What'd you talk about?
Dan and me, you mean?
Yeah.
Nothing in particular, just talk, that's all.
You got up this morning about 8:30. That's kind of late for the mother of 2 infants to get up, isn't it?
I never set the alarm. The babies are my alarm clock. They usually wake up about 6 o'clock or so, and I hear them cry. Poor kids. I don't get it.
Sergeant. Yeah, Doc? Can I see you a minute? For sure. Captain?
Okay. Excuse me, Miss Lucas. I'll be right back. Well, how's it look?
Captain Canelli, Dr. Mastico.
Glad to know you. Yeah. Well?
They're both dead. They were DOA. There wasn't even any use trying.
You have any idea what the cause of death was?
I don't know. It wasn't anything external. Probably suffocation. I'm going to pack up. You'll notify the medical examiner, Sergeant?
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry. There wasn't anything that could be done.
I know, yeah.
Excuse me. I've got to pack up.
Rough deal, Captain.
Yeah. After you call the ME, Sergeant, notify the detectives. Tell them we've got 2 suspicious deaths. Possible homicide. The longer you're in the job, the easier it is to do the hard things. But there's one thing that never gets easier. That's telling a mother her kid is dead. I told Mrs. Ruth Lucas that both of hers were dead. I left Sergeant Burns in charge with instructions to wait for the arrival of the medical examiner and the detectives. Sector men were ordered to resume patrol. On the way downstairs, I thought of a squeal I investigated as a detective before the war. A mother, a girl from a good, hard-working family, couldn't stand her baby crying day and night. She grabbed him by the throat and strangled him. That was messier, but the twins were just as dead.
She did. I tell you, she did.
All right, lady. You'll get a chance to tell your story. Oh, hello, Captain.
Captain? Are you the captain?
Yes, that's right. Coley, keep the people moving.
Yes,
will you?
sir. Now, look.
Kill those babies? I know it.
That's a very serious accusation, ma'am.
I'm making it.
What's your name?
And Mrs. Gonzalez, Mrs. Mary Gonzalez.
You the woman who stayed with the babies last night?
That's right. I stayed with them all the time. I loved those babies. She had no use for them. No use at all.
Well, that doesn't mean she killed them, Mrs. Gonzalez.
Oh, don't it? She wanted to marry this Dan Corbett, but he didn't want any ready-made family. She told me that herself.
When did she tell you that?
Well, last night. Before that, even.
Look, Mrs. Gonzalez, I'd like you to talk to the detectives who are handling this. Have you got time to come to the station house now?
Right now?
I'll give you a lift in my car.
Oh, I was just going out to the butcher.
All right. The detectives will come around to see you.
Oh, I'll go. I'll go now.
Okay. Come on. Don't forget to stop in, Coley.
Yes, sir.
I love those babies. Couldn't have loved them more if they were my own grandchildren. And I got 2 grandchildren in Jersey City.
What time did she get home last night?
It was after midnight, way after midnight.
Miss Lucas said it was before midnight.
Oh, thank you. It was after. I came at 8 o'clock and she gave me $1.25 for 5 hours. That goes to show you I love those babies.
Station house, Johnny.
Wouldn't mind children for that unless I loved them. And I was always bringing them things. Toys and clothes and things like that.
She, told me that Dan Talbot came home with her last night, Miss Gonzalez.
Yes, I pronounce it Gonzalez. I'm not Spanish, you see. That was my husband's name, my second husband's name. Rest his soul.
Did they, say anything in your presence?
Well, no. When they came, she just gave me the $1.25 and I went upstairs. But I could smell liquor on her breath.
Was she drunk?
Well, she'd been drinking. I could see that. And I could see she didn't love them. I loved them. I spent more money on them than she ever paid me. A lot more. She killed them. I know she killed them. She was much sicker than
The woman continued talking all the way to the station house. She told me everything she knew and everything she suspected. She ran the gamut from fact to rumor to guess. When we got there, I took her upstairs to the office of Lieutenant Matt King, who commanded the 21st Detective Squad. Then I walked down the rickety stairs through the back room. 2 division plainclothesmen had a sharply dressed policy rider there prior to booking. The 124 man was posting the newest teletype alarms. I walked out into the muster room. Sergeant Klein on the boxes waved at me, and I walked over.
Couple of messages for you, Captain.
Yeah?
Call division headquarters.
Okay.
Mrs. Franklin called. She says she's president of the PS 181 Parent Teachers
Oh, yes.
Association.
Call her back, Sergeant, and tell her the order came through. We're posting a patrolman at that crossing before and after school beginning Monday.
Yes, sir. And Father Tanachi called and asked whether you'd like to speak to the boys' club this Wednesday or next Wednesday. Either date is open.
Oh, which did he prefer?
He didn't say anything, Captain.
All right, I'll phone him. Get me division.
Okay, Captain. This is the 21st Precinct. Captain Kennelly to speak to Deputy Chief Inspector DeAndrea. Where'd you take it, Captain? In your office?
No, I'll take it here. Captain Kennelly. Hello, Chief. Yes, sir. Well, I was on my way. We had what looks like a double homicide. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I can come now. Oh. All right, Chief. I'll send my clerical man. Yes, sir. Right away. Sergeant, send McCarty up to division to get notes on the meeting of precinct commanders that just broke up. Yes, sir. I'll be in my office.
21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein.
Sergeant Burns on the 614 East 76. Brains and the ME showed up. I turned it over to them. I'm going back on the street.
Well, give the street my love.
What's with you?
The chief just chewed out the skipper.
Oh, is that all? I'll see you.
A precinct commander's job runs from A to Z and back again. During the morning, I approved the plans of the precinct youth patrolmen for neighborhood softball teams. I listened to a delegation from St. Anthony's on their application to close off 80th Street for a block party and I wrote out my recommendation for departmental recognition of a patrolman. In the meantime, the investigation into the death of the twins continued. The bodies had been removed to Bellevue Morgue for autopsy. Detectives brought the mother to the station house for further interrogation by Lieutenant King. While she was upstairs, another detective brought in Dan Talbot. Lieutenant King preferred that he not see Miss Lucas at the moment, so Talbot was asked to wait in my office. While I signed reports, he sat there waiting for Lieutenant King to come downstairs and talk with him. Yes?
Busy, Captain?
Oh, Coley, I'll be right out.
Yes, sir.
You sit here, Dan.
How long will it be, do you know?
Oh, won't be long.
I don't like to miss the time on the job.
All right, Coley.
Captain, some fellow who works in the laundry over on York Avenue told me that Mrs. Gonzalez is her neighborhood gossip. You know, in the twins case?
Yeah, the detectives know about that. Look, Coley, a loan company in Flushing wrote in and said you were 3 payments behind on a note.
She had sickness in the family, and the bills piled up, Captain.
I thought it was for a washing machine.
Well, the note was, yes, sir, but she got sick afterwards. I'm going to get straightened out with him payday. I told him that.
I'll see that you do. We don't want any more letters. Oh, Coley.
Yes, sir.
Don't say you're going to take care of it and not do it. If you can't make it, let me know. Maybe I can call for you and get an extension.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Captain. Hi, Matt. Your man's in here. Oh, that's all, Coley.
Yes, sir.
Well, what's it look like, Matt?
Not very good for the mother.
Go ahead. This is Dan Talbot, Lieutenant King.
That's all right. Sit still. Oh, thanks. What's the name, Kane? King. K-I-N-G. Lieutenant Matthew King.
Oh. Where's Ruth?
Upstairs in the detective squad.
Oh, she's not in jail?
No, just in the office.
Oh, I thought somebody was kidding me when that detective came and told me what happened. Thought it was a joke.
There would have been some joke.
Well, my boss was sore I had to leave. I was putting a new clutch in the car. It has to go on the street tonight.
Well, we'll see if we can get you out of here fast.
She wouldn't do that to those kids. Must have been an accident.
Accidents don't happen in pairs, not like that.
I mean, Ruth wouldn't do anything like that. Was it all right if I smoke in here?
That's one of mine. Here.
Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot, Lieutenant. Thanks.
I mentioned it. How long have you known Ruth?
Oh, I don't know. 5 or 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
How'd you meet her?
Well, to tell you the truth, it was in a bar and grill. I used to stop in there once in a while for a glass of beer. I saw her in there 2 or 3 times alone. Thought it was kind of funny, a pregnant girl coming into a bar alone like that.
Yeah.
I asked about her. Somebody told me. I don't know. I guess I felt kind of sorry for the kid. We got to talking one night, and that was that.
You kept seeing her right up until the time she had the baby?
Yeah, it was funny. I'd visit her at the hospital. Some people around there thought I was the father. I didn't say nothing. I let them think what they wanted.
And after she brought the kids home?
It was just like before. I kept seeing her, taking her out, when she could get this Mrs. Gonzalez to sit, you know.
I understand you talked about getting married.
Oh, who told you that, Ruth?
Is it true?
We talked about it, yeah. Can I have that ashtray, Captain?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. But there never was anything definite. Not one way or the other.
What do you mean, not one way or the other?
Well, there was a lot of problems. We both had our problems.
The kids?
Yeah, that plus the fact I'm not making a fortune, you know. I figured you get married, you want to enjoy each other for a little while anyway. There's time enough for kids a little later when you feel like settling down.
And you'd probably have been married already if it wasn't for the kids.
Oh, I wouldn't say that exactly, Lieutenant. Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever tell her that?
Well, we talked about it pro and con from every angle. You know, if a guy's going to have a family, he'd much rather it be his own. That's the facts of life.
She gets some money from the government, doesn't she?
Yeah, she even went down and got the details from the VA or somebody. If she got married again, it'd be cut down to half or so. About $60 a month for the twins. That's what she'd get.
What'd you talk about when you brought her home last night, Dan?
Oh, different things.
About getting married?
Yeah, it was mentioned.
You told her you didn't want to see her anymore, isn't that right?
Well, how'd you know that?
Well, let's say I guessed it.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, the whole thing seemed kind of hopeless to me. I told her I'm a young guy and I don't want to take on somebody else's obligations. I could see it would only lead to trouble if I did that. That's exactly what I told her. If we got married, it could only lead to trouble.
I'll tell you something, Danny. You didn't get married, and it still led to trouble.
The questioning went on for another 15 or 20 minutes.
Drink last night, Dan?
I sat there watching and listening. Interrogation is a great skill, and Matt King knew his business. He was friendly, polite, and patient. Dan Talbot tried to be as helpful as he could without hurting Ruth. He was helpful, but he hurt her. Step by step, Lieutenant King was building a case of murder first against Ruth Lucas. At 4 p.m., I turned out the platoon for the night tour. At 4:10, Sergeant Klein came into my office for a conference in regard to tours off for accumulated days spent in court by men in his platoon.
I guess that does it, Captain. Thanks.
All right.
Is the captain in there?
Well, he's busy now, ma'am. Can you tell me what it's about?
I want to see the captain.
Well, I said the
That's
captain...
all right, Sergeant. I'll talk to her. Come in, Miss Gonzalez.
Certainly is hard to get some attention around here. That's all I can say. Certainly is hard.
Sit down.
No, thanks. I can stand. I gave a lot of time when Lieutenant King wanted to know all about everything this morning. Now I can't even see him.
Well, I know that he's very busy this afternoon.
Well, I gave my time when he wanted it.
Did you talk to any of his detectives upstairs? Maybe they can help him.
Oh, sure. I talked to the detectives, but they said I'd have to talk to the lieutenant, and lieutenant won't talk to me. What am I supposed to do?
Well, what is it that you want?
I just want my things, that's all. I gave a lot of things to those babies, and they're dead now. I want them to give to my own grandchildren. Should have given them to my own grandchildren in the first place.
You'll get whatever is yours as soon as the investigation is over.
Well, I just want to make sure they aren't turned over to some charity or something. After all, charity begins at home.
Well, I suggest you make a list of what you claim is yours.
I don't need a list. I know. There were 4 pairs of little Johnny coats and a raffle for each one of them, and there was a rubber sheet.
Now, Mrs. Gonzalez,
And
I'm
there
sure...
was
Yes, come in.
Excuse me, Captain. You said you wanted to ride over and take a look at conditions at First Avenue Playground after school.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll be right with you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Sergeant,
Yes, sir.
what time does the messenger leave for the distributing room tonight?
About 5:30, Captain.
All right. Have him stop in here. I'll have these reports signed.
Okay, Captain.
And there was those 2 pillars. They're the most important. 2 pillars with real down. Took me a whole day to make them, and you know how much down is. Real down.
Well, you'll be able to get all of it back if it's yours.
Well, it's definitely mine. I didn't give her anything. I only loaned it. The pillows couldn't be anything except loaning, because she didn't even know about them. I just put them in last night.
You put them in where?
In the drawers. Where'd you think? Those poor little babies sleep in those hard drawers like that. It was a shame.
Last night?
That's right, just last night. I only finished them yesterday afternoon. I thought the babes would be a lot more comfortable.
And didn't you say anything to Miss Lucas about the pillows?
Well, I was going to mention it, but when I came downstairs to sit, I forgot to bring them. After she was gone, I went back upstairs for a minute to get the pillows. I was only gone a minute. I wouldn't leave those babies alone.
When did you put the pillows in the drawers, Miss Gonzalez?
And the babies woke up for their bottles, about 11:30. After I changed them, I put the pillows in the drawers.
And how high are the pillows?
What do you mean, how high?
Well, I mean, are they thick?
Well, very thick. They're very good pillows, genuine down. And I want them back.
You'll get them back. I guarantee you'll get them back.
Well, as long as I have your guarantee.
All right, let's go upstairs, Miss Gonzalez,
Why?
to see Lieutenant King.
They told me he's very busy.
We'll see him. In Lieutenant King's presence, I had Miss Gonzalez repeat her story about putting the pillows in the drawers. She went through it word for word.
Back to sleep. Now I want the pillows back. Don't you think I'm entitled to them?
What's your point, Captain?
Where are the drawers? At the house?
No, we brought them in here for evidence. The drawers and all the bedding that was in them. What's the point?
Let me show you.
In my office.
Oh, is she in there?
Yes, she's in there.
Well, I don't know if I want to talk to her.
You don't have to talk to her, Mrs. Gonzalez. Got them over on the table.
Hello, Mary.
Hello.
Over here. Here they are.
The pillows are right under the sheets. That's where I...
Just a minute, Miss Gonzalez. I'll do it.
Well, they're my pillows, after all.
Now, look, man. Miss Lucas didn't know the pillows were there. You take them out, and they lower the place where the baby slept about 3 or 4 inches.
No.
With them down that much lower, there was plenty of room for them to breathe when the yellow blanket was pulled tight over the top. You put them back, and they're up pretty close to the yellow blanket. Close enough to cause trouble.
What kind of trouble?
Mrs. Lucas, would you come here a minute?
I asked what kind of trouble.
Look, I'm tired. I'm awfully tired.
I know. Mrs. Lucas, did you know these 2 pillows were in the drawers?
What 2 pillows?
These.
No. How'd they get there? I never saw them.
I put them there last night. I wanted the babies to be more comfortable.
Didn't you see that they were sleeping a little higher than usual?
No, I really didn't.
You mean that I caused the babies to smother? Me?
That's right. You did.
Oh, dear God. Dear God.
All right. Sit down, Miss Gonzalez.
I loved them. I loved them so, Ruth. You know I loved them.
I know.
I wouldn't do that for anything in the world. Forgive me. Please forgive me.
Oh, Mary, I forgive you. It wasn't your fault. Accidents happen.
"21st Precinct, Sergeant Klein." Yes, sir? What's the address? 205, 209. Inside? In front of the shoemaker's. What's the trouble there? What does the man have?
And so it goes,
What kind of
around the
stuff?
clock, through the week, every day, every year. The police precinct in the city of New York is a flesh and blood merry-go-round. Anyone can catch the brass ring, or the brass ring can catch anyone.
The incidents portrayed on tonight's 21st Precinct occurred last year. Names were changed to protect the interests of persons involved. 21st Precinct is presented with the official cooperation of the Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, an organization of more than 20,000 members of the Police Department, City of New York. Everett Sloan in the role of Captain Kennelly, Ken Lynch as Lieutenant King. Featured in tonight's cast were Joan Loring and Barbara Weeks,